Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to a lovely Monday morning here at Barham Engines. So, guys, you ain't going to believe this, but as you can hear, I got a stinking cold. Now, where did that cold come from? John. John's brought that cold back to work, so he was off the week before last week. His wife turned ill with another stinking cold. Now, the last 2 or 3 weeks, so the first 2 or 3 weeks that I've been absolutely fine. Then John come in last week, not very well, passed it on to me, so I've been sort of rough as hell all weekend. I weren't going to come in today, to be honest with you, but I've looked at my camera this morning, noticed that John wasn't here at about 8:20, and he's normally here about 7:30. So I've come in because I've got to get Andrew's engine on its way on the pallet. I've also got to get Kevin's engine on the way, and I've got a few bits and bobs to get to. Well, I've got loads to do. We're hell of a busy. John's not in. As soon as I got in, his wife rang. Yeah, he's still in bed with his stinking cold, and I've got it, guys. So yeah, ill again, but I am here. So anyway, guys, first things first, let's get this Cosworth on the pallet, all strapped on. I'll organise it with Mark at InExpress, and this should be picked up tomorrow. So that's first job. So as you can see, guys, never really showed you this, have I? Picking up an engine with a crane. Not that it's that exciting, but we use a chain here. The only reason I'm using a chain is because the strops, we've ordered new strops or straps, whatever. So I've just put some cloth either side of the head and the rocker cover just to make sure it doesn't damage it. We've put the clutch on this morning. So we've got a Helix paddle clutch here with a light and flywheel, obviously all balanced. And we've got 3 dots on the flywheel, 3 dots on the clutch. The flywheel can only go on one way because it's got 9 offset holes. So that goes on the crank. It's all balanced as a unit. So this needs to go on correctly. And then the dots match up from the clutch cover to the flywheel. We've used our tool there to get the clutch plate in line. We've got a new spigot bearing in there, guys. So yeah, this thing, I've just sort of gone over it, and this thing is all ready to go. So bear in mind, when it came into us, it was all in bits, and Andrew decided in the end to sort of get it all put together as one unit so he can just get it in the car. So what I normally do here, it's a bit difficult on your own, but there we go. And what I'll do is stick a little block of wood under the front. I mean, this stuff is nearly as valuable as rag. You undo that. We haven't got any lifting eyes here. Andrew didn't send them, so I've just used 2 long 8mm bolts. And then what we'll do is I'll get one of our trusty clear bags that one of our subscribers sent us. Very, very handy, these. If he's watching, I can't remember who sent these because I've been meaning to get in touch with him. But if he's still watching, these are fantastic, and I would love it if he could send us some more, and I would pay him, but I don't know where to get them from. They're bloody brilliant. There's a very slightly different video today, guys, and I'm probably going to take this opportunity while I'm strapping this engine down to go on about the thumbnail and title. So the thumbnail and title today, why we never get involved with these engines anymore. Not the Cosworth, this engine that I'm on about, or this particular sort of engine, and that is the modern diesels. Why do we not? The reason is, guys, is because, as we have stated in the past, we get loads of phone calls about these modern diesels. The direct injection turbo diesels of today, whether they be in vans, cars, anything like that. Usually an emissions issue, I would say. A lot of the time it's down to the injectors. So, I mean, we have a lot of comments in our videos saying, I don't know whether they're trollers or people are just having a dig or just genuine sort of people's genuine opinion of our channel, but they say we get a lot of warranty issues. But if any of you have watched the channel from the beginning and you see these warranty videos that we do, a lot of the time it ends up it's not our problem. or it turns out not to be a fault of ours. And usually it's these diesels in the past. Once they get to the point where an injector fails, usually everything around it, the EGR will be clogged, the injectors will be a bit tired. I've said to you before that about injectors, about recon injectors, the reason we don't deal with recon injectors anymore, and that is because going by what a company that we've dealt with for years that do sort of injectors, they said you can replace all the bits that you can replace in these injectors, but once the bodies have worn inside, they're never the same again. So that is the reason we don't deal with recon injectors. It's new injectors. New injectors are a fair bit of money on some of these things. You know, for instance, on a Transit 2.2, they're what, £200 quid each plus the VAT. You know, that's over £1,000 for a set of injectors. So a lot of the time when these engines get to us because the engine's failed, it's usually to do with something external, and it's not just going to be one thing external. You're not just going to have one knackered injector. Everything else around it, like the DPF, EGR, all might be okay now, but it's all on its way. So say for instance it's sort of £3,500 to do an engine, you usually find to sort of cover yourself in a warranty, it's going to be the same again in external parts, like renewing the DPF and the injectors and stuff like that, and people just don't want to do it. And these vans, when they come here, they sort of at an age where they're maybe not that valuable. You know, it's probably a 5 to 8 grand van, something like that. They're not going to want to go and spend the same amount of money on the van, and that's what we were finding. People were not doing what we told them to do. 3-4 months down the line, the same problem happens again. They want to come back for a warranty, and we've got to go through that whole procedure of taking the engine back, stripping it, telling them what we said in the first place was potentially the problem, something external, and then you got the arguments, and you know, just don't want it, guys. That is one reason why they are probably the worst type of engine that we've dealt with, and the reason that we don't, if we can help it, deal with them anymore. Having said that, there are the odd customers that we will get involved with an engine like that, because we know that they are going to renew all the parts that we'd say. It's mainly, a lot of the time, it's the punters as opposed to the garages. There is the odd occasion where we will get involved with a reputable garage that we know is going to do the correct things. We don't mind that. And also, if the engines are sort of not available, then we may do. Again, only for a garage. So yeah, that's the reason, guys. I'm sure I've sort of said that before in the past, but yeah, they can be a bloody nightmare. Right, so there we go, guys. Bottom end here, and we've got Andrew's Cosworth there, all wrapped up, palleted up, got the InExpress labels on, ready to go tomorrow. Made a right palaver of that earlier, guys, when I was chatting on about the diesel engines, but yeah, all strapped down now, ready to go tomorrow. So, what have we got now on the engine stand? So we've got another Cosworth there, which is a 205 block. Got to rebore that, reface it. Got all the bits here to go through. Crank assembly, I think. Pistons and what have you. Yeah, it's got crank there. Just got to check everything. The guy's going to be building that one, but I've just got to do a dummy build, do all the machining, and make sure it's all ready to assemble. And the same here, guys. Same customer. Another 205 block, got the crank assembly there that we've got to balance, etc. And he's also sent in another box of pistons, etc. to sort of check, and I think we've got to make one good set. But yeah, plenty of work there, guys, to be done. Paul Dove's head over here, took 25 thou off that, cut the seats, and that thing is ready to go now. Just pop the valves in, make sure they all vacuum perfect. Over here, we've got his crank from his rally car, guys, the Fiesta. It all looks like it's on its way to being either put on a track or do a rally with. Do something with it, Paul, for Christ's sake. So here we've got the dummy crank. I'm going to get that up on the crank balancer in a minute. Just check the balance on that and dummy it up with some plasticine, because it's only a donor just to balance his clutch cover and a new lightweight flywheel, because obviously the crank is in the bottom end, like I said on the last video. So let's get that one set up, guys, and that is Paul's job done then. Right, so there we go, guys. The crank is up. We've dummied it up. So basically what we do is when we fire this machine up, we turn the left hand one. We've done the right hand side, so for instance we turn the left one, make sure that the knob is on alpha left, and you can see there it's 0. But on this one, whatever the amount is, like I've said to you before, say for instance we are out 90 and say 20, we stop the machine, we turn it to 90, which is 9 there. And if we were removing material, so if we were balancing this crank, if it was going in an engine, we would remove material on this plane. But because we're just dummying it up, what we were doing is adding plasticine just to the other side of the crank. So you can see there we've got a little bit of dollop of plasticine on there. Now that crank is dummied up and all balanced. So what we'll do now is we'll get the flywheel on and see how far out it is. So we've put this flywheel on. You can see it sits on the centre of the crank. This one is also dowelled, so it can only go on one way. You can see at the back there it's sitting flush against the crank, which you've got to make sure, and you've also got to make sure that you've got clearance between the machine and the flywheel. So you can see this, we've only just got clearance, and then also you want clearance between the crank and the machine that side. So we'll get our gun here and just do these up gun tight. That's all we need to do. We don't need to torque them onto the crank as long as it's running true. And what we'll do, we'll just spin this up. You see that's nice and smooth there. Right, so you can see there, guys, that is next to perfect. We are very, very, very slightly out on about 210. So if we stop that, put the brake on, put it on 210 there, and we just want to be drilling a little hole about there, I think. Just about there. And you can see now, guys, that is down to 0. We are flapping about on the angle gauge, which means it doesn't know where it's out, and that is balanced. And to be honest with you, I'll show you what I've drilled. There is just not even a hole. I've just drilled a little bit there. So that is next to perfect, that flywheel, guys. Let's get the clutch on and see how bad that is. Right, so we've got the clutch on, look. All seems to be running true as a clutch can run. And we're up at 30. And that 330 on the angle. So, stop that, guys. Brake on. Get her up to 330 there. And we need to be removing material from about that area. So, let's get me a little marker pen, wherever Isaac has put it. I haven't been on this machine for ages. This is usually Isaac's baby now, but unfortunately he's off. And he's not back till tomorrow, I don't think. I think he gets back tomorrow. I think he's back from holiday tomorrow. I don't know. I'll have to message him tonight. Right, so I reckon about 3 or 4 holes around that area, and it should all be good, guys. Do feel free to comment down below on all the holes that I drill, and it looking like a colander, and suggesting that it would be absolutely no good whatsoever. So feel free, guys. So I've just drilled 2 holes to start with, guys. We'll fire that up. I normally drill sort of less holes than I think I'm going to have to drill, just to see where we are. And you see we've come down to almost 20 there, and we're about 320 now. So we know that 2 holes has moved it down 10, so we reckon really in theory another 4 holes. So we want to be going, so where are we? If we go to 30, about 32 over there, we want to be, if I'm going to put me 4 holes up here, I think, about this side, and then we should be around about where we need to be. There we go, guys. We've got 6 holes there, and do not worry, this clutch cover will be absolutely fine. I know many of you say that we shouldn't remove material, we should add it on, but we've done thousands of these, guys, and they've all been absolutely fine. So that is in perfect balance now. I can put that on the floor, give Paul a ring to come and collect his stuff, and it's all done. Well, there we go for Monday's video, guys. I'm sorry it's a bit of a, I'm on my own today, bit of a funny one, I suppose, but if you're thinking of ringing in the future regarding a diesel engine for a van or a car, a modern diesel I'm on about, just be aware that we will really only deal with reputable garages that we know are going to replace or fix the things that we recommend fixing to keep the engine within warranty. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Till Wednesday's video, take care, and we'll see you then. Cheers, guys.